I've learned a lesson that some things in life that are really good take just about forever to happen, but it's worth holding on and working for them. This is one of those things. When the lights dim and I hear the sounds, 25 years disappear, and I'm back in Tron.
Here we go.
Was talking with a number of colleagues at Disney who had been thinking about Tron, and I said, here are the things I just really remember off of my gut. I remember suits that were lit, light cycles, Jeff Bridges, and a screen that looked unlike any movie screen I'd ever seen before. I said, in my opinion, that's what we're beholden to.
This is the key to a new order.
Sean Bailey called me in for a general meeting in July 2007. And, you know, in a general meeting, typically you talk about a couple different projects, but Sean really wanted to talk to me about Tron and just ask me what would my take be on a Tron sequel.
Very shortly thereafter, we met Eddie Kitsis and Adam Horowitz.
Our agents called us and said, would you be interested in Tron, which was like the dream come true because we were both obsessed with the movie.
Greetings, programs!
We felt like there were certain design elements and pieces that they had done incredibly well and were incredibly ahead of their time, but we also felt we had to do some new things. And I guess so at first I was a little apprehensive about bringing that up with Steven Lisberger.
Everybody wants to see cyberspace get real, and I think that's a really exciting thing, to have all this technology behind it, to realize it in a way that we couldn't have conceived of when we did the first film.
A movie like this, you know, you can talk to you blue in the face, but ultimately you need to show them something. So I proposed the idea of creating a 2 or 3 minute piece, kind of like a mini trailer for a movie that didn't exist yet.
We'll shoot walk-offs and take them through a series of moves. That'll get the movement we want.
It was funny, as we started to write the script, Joe went off to shoot the test footage.
We got Jeff to be a part of it, which is really important.
I don't think this movie would exist without him being involved. He was integral to even getting this thing off the ground.
This technology was so fascinating, and that was very exciting to come to realize all the things that you can do. So I jumped for it, and we shot this trailer.
Okay, lights out, please. Okay, wanna move around a little bit, just.
We started saying, we think we have a story to tell, but does anyone care? And we thought, Comic-Con has become kind of the barometer for what people are interested in when it comes to big movies.
We showed it to an audience that had no idea they were going to see it. I remember sitting there with Joe and a couple guys from the studio, and we were really nervous because we thought, well, if this plays well, we're probably off and making our movie, and if it doesn't, we're probably not.
fun, okay? It's just a game!
Not anymore. The film got such a great reaction from the fans that Disney said, oh yeah, we can put the money that it's going to cost to make this film a reality.
It was one of those things where you kind of dream it, you imagine best case scenario, and then everything just kind of fell into place.
And action.
Look back and then maybe get up on the pedals a little bit like you're racing and kind of say, come on, Dad, let's race. You know, you can talk to him a little bit, right?
Are we gonna mic him? Yeah, that's good. So you look back and smile at him. Action, fight, folks.
The challenge of writing Tron was coming into it and saying, how do we honor the original movie, continue that story, expand on it, and take it to a new place while also opening up the world for new fans.
Tron and I, we beat the evil MCP and finally got out, and finally we came home.
There's so much interesting, mythology in the first movie, and then we said, it has been so long. And a lot of our target audience won't have seen the original. They won't have been born when the original was created.
At the end of the original Tron, Kevin Flynn jumps out of a helicopter on top of Encom Tower. And what we're saying at that point is he created the Tron video game based on his experiences in that movie. At the same time, he's continuing to do research on this universe that he found. So he actually spends his nights beaming himself in and out of the computer world.
So we just kind of wrote this interim mythology from 82 to 89, where he gets stuck inside of the computer again, disappears off the face of the planet, for the next 20 years or so.
Well, Kevin went to the computer and he got stuck in there, and he's been in there for 20 years, and that's where we find him.
The notion of living inside a computer world as an avatar is something that couldn't be more relevant in 2010.
We put together a really exciting room of people from Caltech and JPL to test our theories of, the biological form going into digital space.
And remarkably, they said, well, under certain circumstances, we could imagine in the future, if you had enough computing power and you used something called quantum science, you could have such a circumstance.
Relates directly to quantum teleportation. I mean, it fits the quantum teleportation model. His quantum information is destroyed in the process of recreating the quantum information.
It's teleportation, not
It's destroyed. It is disappeared.
Yeah.
It is not physically destroyed. It is actually negated.
I love those guys. They've read the script, and the next thing you know, you've got a neuroscientist arguing with an artificial intelligence scientist about what an ISO girl program would really be thinking.
There are a lot of geek women like myself who love computer games, but the computer games we love are the ones that get us involved emotionally.
You realize that what Lisberger came up with all those years ago really touched a nerve with people and really kind of ignited imaginations in some way.
Each generation sees their role differently. Part of this generation's challenge is how to make this stuff real, how to bring computers into your everyday life, and they're making the film real the same way. This film really belongs to the next generation. Should I pass him a torch? Should we make it official?
Just says it, the disc.
Yeah.
It's a giant world. There's a lot more story out there than we're able to explore in our film.
There's a whole world that has grown, and we're just kind of scratching the surface of that world. And that's something that's exciting to us, is that there's a deeper mythology that we're just kind of getting into.
Then in 1982, I fell asleep on stage 4, and I woke up in the next Tron film. I feel like Rip Van Winkle.
I would say that the most important element in the world of Tron is light. I think that transcends our film and the first film. When you look at the first film, you think of the lines of light that kind of define the characters and the architecture and the vehicles. That's very similar to our film. Our film is a different universe, a different world. It's a much more evolved virtual space, but light is definitely the thing that links everything together.
Once you go into Tron World, everybody's got some light, or you can't come to the party.
It's incredibly beautiful. The effects, the look of it. You know, at first glance, just how unique it looks. No one's ever seen anything like it. But the director, Joe Kosinski, is a designer and an architect, and he comes at this film with a unique perspective that really creates something new.
It's always interesting to me where directors come from. In Joe's case, he's coming from architecture. He's an architect. And so the world of Tron has this reality to it that's very grounded.
Well, I'm just wondering if we can kind of get, at least along the bottom span, maybe look at cladding that so it's one long, smooth kind of bone line.
He's got an incredible eye, he's got an incredible design sense. And I've never, ever worked with a director that spent as much time and as much focus on the production design of the film as much as Joe has.
It's definitely rooted in the look of the first film. You know, the DNA of the original Tron is inherent, I think, in our film. You know, the idea is that the server was cut off from the real world in the 1980s.
It has developed free of the internet. This is not a movie about the web. This is a world that has grown on a server and become something very potent and unique.
This is the evolution of Flynn's world within cyberspace. You can almost think of it as a cyber Galapagos, where it has evolved on its own.
The lines of light that flow seamlessly throughout the architecture and the vehicles and the costumes is probably the most important theme of the film.
The look of Tron is dark silhouetted objects bathed in atmosphere with low-lying clouds kind of nested between in a kind of Japanese landscape painting. And then the dominant light source is the self-lighting of things. It's the Tron lines.
What they've added to this world in comparison to the last is a grander sense of geography. I mean, there's the lightning storms and the weather, and there's also the cliffs and the mountains and
atmosphere and rain and wind and all these things that they weren't able to do in the first film, but my kind of justification was the simulation has over time gotten more and more realistic, and it's tried to kind of create a simulation of the real world.
There's Tron metal, there's Tron rain, there's all kinds of physical things that were not achievable in computer graphics in the original, which now, thanks to the advances in games and everything else, that everyone sees real-time computer graphics that look so amazing now, it seemed only natural to bring those physical properties and phenomena into the Tron world.
When we cut to those shots inside, that's an open-air thing. You gotta feel the wind and the rain kind of blowing through there. That's great, though.
My big goal was to really make it feel real.
Lights up, and 3, 2, 1, go!
I wanted it to feel like we took motion picture cameras into the world of Tron and shot it. So I wanted to build as many sets as possible. I wanted the materials to be real materials, glass, concrete, steel. So it had this kind of visceral quality to it.
All right, so we're going into sacred territory. This is Kevin Flynn's secret lab. And what this space is meant to tell the story is this takes the place of the lab from the first movie. This is one of my favorite details in the whole movie, and I hope we get it picked up, but this is actually the MCP desk caddy, and that's from the first movie.
This film, to our benefit, did create a lot of great sort of grand sets to be able to, you know, not have to pretend so much.
I think the juxtaposition between kind of the real world and the textures and the colors and the tones and the materials that we're going to kind of see in the first few minutes of the film are going to hopefully be so sharply contrasted by the clean surfaces and the really clean lines in Tron. So that was definitely an intention. This is one of our bigger sets in the film. We have 4 large sets, this probably being one of the larger ones. This is a solid glass floor. It's an uplit glass floor. We're about 10 feet off the stage, on the soundstage floor right now. Light is an integral part of our design process on this film. Everything from the fireplace is lit to the tables lit to, you know, we've got lighting in the air conditioning vents, and there's lighting in the pools, and there's lots and lots of set lighting in every pocket we can kind of cram it.
So our suits actually glow and throw light on the other actors in the sets, so it's practical.
Good split, man.
It was really about innovating technology. It was taking things that we already knew and pushing the envelope. That was the goal, really, to say, here's the first, here's the technological advancement in a costume for a movie.
Here's a world that's all digital. There's not really going to be a seamstress. That was really the hardest part, is to kind of get your head around, wait a minute, how are things made? If it's all materialized, then we don't need buttons, we don't need zippers, we don't need any kind of enclosures. So how do we put stuff together? How does somebody get dressed? And we had to come up with a way to sew fabric together so that it didn't look like it was stitched together.
Neville Page and Joe Kosinski had worked on concept art, made these incredible sweeping line gestures, like these beautiful concepts for the costume with light everywhere. And you're going, but wait, his arm has to bend, and when he takes the disc, you know, I've never seen a light that could move like that on someone's body without breaking. How do we do this?
What we do here is we take the designs of the costumes and we start with a sculpting process. After those pieces are cast and body shopped, the final molds are made. These costumes are special effects costumes, and what makes it special effects costumes is the fact that we are adding light to all the costumes.
These are all foam rubber suits. They all have integrated electronics that are inside them. Completely flexible. Even the lights are flexible overall. Inside this foam rubber suit is a whole matrix of wiring, and they all start from a centralized place in the back where we actually connect into. This will drive all the power.
Ready to go clubbing.
There's 4 layers, right? So I have like a foundation, which kind of sucks everything in, and then like a barrier, and then like this other electronics thing, hence the lights, and then this part, which is like a latex balloony type material that kind of, you know, sticks on.
The lights go on, please.
The technology to do these types of films has grown in such leaps and bounds since the first film, and really the sky's the limit. It's kind of whatever you can really conceive, you can pretty much bring to fruition.
We're the next generation of 3D cinematography after Avatar, so it takes all that technology that Jim Cameron came up with into the next level.
It's different.
Shooting this movie in 3D was, I think, the right decision to be made, and it was a lot of foresight on Joe's and Disney's part to make that decision from the very beginning. Joe wanted to make it immersive 3D kind of window. When we go into the computer, you're going to see something you've never really seen before.
We had to create everything in this world. So between the environments, the vehicles, and our digital character, Visual Effects has been working on this film for about 2 years.
There's roughly a little over 1,500 shots in this film, but with layout approvals, animation approvals, 3D approvals, it's roughly like 6,000 plus shots, it feels like. Knowing that this Clue character was going to be Jeff Bridges at this earlier age, that was incredibly challenging, and we really had a goal of pushing that to the next level.
You are a very rare bird, aren't you?
On set, Jeff would give his performance, and then they had a body double named John Reardon, who would study that performance, and he would act out the scene sort of mimicking the way that Jeff Bridges performed it, and then we basically cut off John Reardon's head in the computer and put in the digital Clue head.
I took the system to its maximum potential. I created the perfect system.
Jeff Bridges will actually create the all-digital character, as opposed to animators kind of interpreting what Jeff Bridges might do.
You'll all be wearing these next year. This is the latest style.
It's 4 little lipstick cameras that face up, and so when Jeff is performing or talking,
Those cameras record those little dots so that later on in the post-production process, they can use that to drive this specific animation rig for Jeff.
Of course, you're right. Enjoy the drink. It's very gratifying to know that I can play myself or the character that I'm playing at any age. It's really the beginning of a whole new era of filmmaking.
From a designer point of view, it was just a kind of a dream come true to assemble a team of designers that I thought were the best in every field and bring them together and create this amazing art department.
What I think Joe and his vision have brought to it is a real sense of detail, photorealism, physics, jeopardy that, truthfully, just wasn't achievable in 1982.
That was the first goal, making sure that we leave an indelible design mark on this film. Much like Sid did on the first film, and want to make sure that our designs and our look are enough of a leap forward as the first one was.
Boy and Flynn are gone.
I presume, Your Excellency, they perished in the elevator.
You presume. Find them.
I've heard chatter about this private initiative of yours.
The disc.
Knowing that Jeff Bridges was going to be doing Tron again was so exciting. He's one of the great actors of our time, and he's a lot of people's favorite actor, not just because of his talent, but also because of what comes across in his personality as well.
Of course, you're right. Enjoy the drink.
It's been such a joy. I mean, watching him, learning from him. He's so unique in that he takes a risk with every line. He never does anything the same way twice.
Move!
And takes every scene very seriously, even if we're picking up a shot where the three of us are walking down the staircase. He really takes it seriously, wants to know everything about where we've been, where we're going, what the stakes are. All good questions a good actor should ask, but sometimes at 5:30 in the morning, the lazy ones of us sort of let things slide, and never, Jeff, never.
And then I would do that same movement again without the disc. Just go, like that,
I've always been so inspired by everything he's done. I always enjoy his characters, and I've always enjoyed his off-camera persona, and just thought he was such a unique kind of cat, man. And watching somebody that's been doing this for so long and has had so many great performances, to just see the amount of hard work that he puts into every sort of detail is something that makes you better going on to your next project.
I was paged last night.
Oh, man, still rocking the pager, Alan. Good for you, Alan.
Yeah. Well, your dad once told me I had to sleep with the thing, so I still do.
Bruce Boxleitner obviously plays Tron in the original. He also played Alan Bradley. We've kept his character in this film as well, and he plays a very important role in kind of sending Sam on this journey.
It's an absolute treat for me because I really didn't expect it, and this was long rumored. Sam, 2 nights before he disappeared, he came to my house. I've cracked it, he kept saying. My agent said they're interested, they want you for the movie Tron. I went, I can't believe it. That's the first thing I said. No, you've got to be kidding me. He wouldn't leave that, Sam. He wouldn't leave you. I think where I help is I'm kind of part of that conduit to the past.
Hey, it's me, Flynn!
Flynn!
Yeah, greetings, program. It was like a long weekend. We kind of picked up where we left off. Oh! We had a lot of fun on the first one.
I hadn't seen Jeff in a while, and we all got together for dinner one night, and it was just like we hadn't left. He calls me Tronsky, and I call him the Flinster.
And it's always great to join up again with your old compadres, that you worked with in the past. So that was another big plus that, both Bruce and Steven were going to be in it.
the feeling of the sort of three amigos of cyberspace reunited. I think we're all glad to be alive to see it. I'm glad they didn't wait another 20 years for this sequel.
It was great to see those guys together, you know, reminiscing about the old times, but also to see their enthusiasm for this movie and knowing that, you know, we were on the right track.
You're here. You're here.
It's a hard role to fill, you know, to play the son of Kevin Flynn, the son of Jeff Bridges. You need to have that unique combination of intelligence, wit, and humor, and a certain look and a certain physicality. And I think Garrett just embodies all those things.
We're one of those movies, we did a worldwide search, read hundreds of actors, met dozens, screen tested multiple, big names, people you never heard of, people who'd come just straight off the street. And, you know, Garrett won a pretty Darwinian process.
Sam, take the turret. Oh, he's a wonderful guy and perfect for this role. One of the first things I remember talking to him about over lunch, I think even before he got the part, was how he got into acting. And he was saying basically he was, you know, kind of playing pretend when I was a kid. And I said, oh, I can relate to that. That's kind of that's my path as well, you know. And so he has a great sense of play and excitement in doing all of these, you know, the stuff that he has to do. And he's trained for hours and hours, months on doing all the things that his character has to do in the movie.
3, 2, 1, go!
The benefit I'd had on this film was to go through an intense amount of training, not just for physical sort of, you know, benefits, but for just overall, you know, we'd had to spend a couple months prepping the abilities to do some of these jumps over cars just in one quick dash. Very first scene that we had to shoot on this film, we closed down downtown Vancouver and shot me sort of in a parachute harness coming down from the top of the Encom building, you know, at night doing a base jump, landing in the middle of the street. I mean, that's very exciting.
It's constantly being put up in a rig and then, you know, in a harness, someone forgets about him, he flips upside down, flips back.
All right, very, very nice. How was that for you, Garrett? It looked awesome.
Hey, you got to bring me in a little hotter that time. But having to deal with the harness work and being hung up there for, you know, hours and hours and hours. And Jeff Bridges loves to tell us about how that was just a long, arduous journey as well, filming the first Tron. I mean, you know, having to walk around in those suits at that time and how uncomfortable they were. But, you know, now he sees us and he's just like, oh, man.
My only regret is that we haven't been able to play a little more music together. He plays guitar and I play guitar, and we're kind of like ships passing in the night. You know, our characters are working either at the same time or not working on that day. But he's wonderful in the film.
I have to give Olivia a lot of credit. We also went through a pretty long process in trying to find Cora.
There's someone I once knew, a program named Zeus who fought alongside the ISOs. They say he can get anyone, anywhere.
Olivia is a funny thing. The casting director at Disney sent me her headshot, and I brought her in, and she was the first actress I met. I ended up meeting, you know, 50 or 60 different actresses, and after that first meeting, I realized she just had that unique combination of qualities, you know, very smart, very funny, terrific actress, a stunning look that was kind of embody what I wanted Cora to be. I like that look you have at the beginning, so in action, hold that for a couple seconds.
Before I see him.
Before you retract it, yeah.
Okay.
That's just a great look there.
Okay.
Good. Very nice.
Joe was wonderful in wanting to create something new, something that didn't necessarily have to be the typical female lead vixen warrior character that we have seen quite a few times.
Jules Verne is my favorite. Do you know Jules Verne?
Sure.
What's he like?
She's had a sort of naivete, a childlike sensibility that Cora would necessarily have, being this creature that is the next step in evolution, the only ISO, based on no programmer. You know, she just came out of nothing.
Ready and action.
She had to do some amazing things as far as the physicality of her role, you know, to get in shape for that and to get ready for that. And it would be hard enough just to do it in normal clothes, but she has to do it in these suits that are all, you know, very tough to move around in, let alone, you know, do the leaps and the kicks and all this.
No.
No, it's wait.
Olivia and I had met, you know, probably 7 years before we'd done this film, and it was at a point when I was doing my very first project, and she was doing her very first project.
I do all my own stunts that my stunt double doesn't do.
You have. She's done all of her own stuff.
That's not true. We've been waiting to work together for a long time. We've known each other since we were 18.
You know, it's just so great for Tron to be able to go through this kind of, you know, this ride with her.
I'm Castor, your host, provider of any and all entertainments and diversions. At your service.
Michael turned out to be a huge Tron fan of the original, and he was really excited about playing this character.
There was a sort of a problem because I was so desperate to be in it that there were absolutely no bargaining chips for my agents to deal with. So I had to, on the one hand, pretend that I was sort of unsure about this, and on the other hand, all I wanted to do was just, like, dive in.
But I needed an actor that could bring a completely different energy into the film at that point, and just, I think, blew us all away with his performance. He just gave it his all.
I presume our understanding is still valid. Control of the city.
You will get the reward you deserve.
A sizable request, I know, but seemingly fitting compensation. Don't you think?
Michael Sheen, you know, really gives us some cred. Turns in an amazing performance.
When I look at your eyes, I was just like, I'm never really listening to what you're saying. I'm just like, pouting the corners of the hexagon in your eyes.
That's nice. It's nice to know. It's nice to know when we're in a take that you're right there for me. If someone had come up to me when I was 11 as I came out of that cinema and said, 27 years later, you're going to be in the sequel to this film, it would just be extraordinary, you know. And still, now, to this day, sitting here in Flynn's Arcade, I'm like on the edge of freaking out all the time. I've got such confidence in our scenes.
Let's split, man.
I think that Sean, Bailey, and Joe have done an amazing job finding the talent that we've got. And I think it's great that Jeff is back, Bruce is back, and it feels like a really powerful cast.
Arena footage for the games with the crowds and everything. All right, well, we're going to do something pretty unique right now. I'm going to let Joe explain this to you, but essentially, all of you are about to be in this movie. Yeah, we're going to try something. This might be crazy, but I thought it was worth giving a shot. But I think this is the first time this has ever been tried. We actually have technicians from Skywalker Sound all throughout the audience, and we're going to do some crowd recording. And if you guys do a great job, you're actually going to be in Tron Legacy in December.
Comic-Con's obviously really important to this film, and I really did need some real specific crowd chants for the movie. And it seemed like Comic-Con was the perfect opportunity to have 7,000 people kind of intently concentrated on what you're doing and in your control. So it was fun to direct them and include them in the movie.
Just follow the instructions, try to follow the bouncing ball type thing, and do it with a lot of energy. The better you do this, the better chance we're going to put this in the movie. So with that, let's roll the tape. just gonna now direct you directly. So we're gonna try to set a Guinness Book World Record here of most people directed at once. Okay, so what I need you to do is just give me the biggest cheer you can as soon as I lift my hands up, okay? And when I bring them down, I want you to go silent, okay? Ready?
The fans have been so wonderful. They've really given birth to the film Tron Legacy.
The Justice Department announced today that it will begin a full-on investigation into the underground movement known as Flynn Lives. Led by a mysterious online figure known as Zack Attack, this renegade group has been held responsible for acts of subversion against NCOM.
Greetings. My name is Zack Attack. For years I've been communicating to you through message and code, but as of this morning, the landscape has become too difficult and dangerous to operate in. I want to thank the millions of you who have helped to keep Kevin Flynn's spirit alive, and especially those of you who have been with us from the beginning.
Look, it's been over 2 days. We have to face reality here. I know he's your friend, but Kevin Flynn's gone, and no one seems to know where.
There's no need to panic.
I got shareholders breathing down my neck. This was bad for the company. Look, I'm not saying it's permanent. God willing, it comes back. We've got to prepare for the worst.
Fine. Consider me interim CEO. I'm only doing it for Sam's sake.
Sam?
I suggest the board not forget who their biggest shareholder will be if Kevin doesn't come back.
The Flynn Lives movement was born out of loss. But Kevin's genius inspired us all. He saw worlds beyond what we believed to be possible. When he disappeared, that future was taken from all of us. Alan Bradley tried to continue Flynn's legacy, but when NCOM started losing the software game to Dillinger Systems, the shareholders demanded a change.
NCOM was founded around a chess game.
Your plan represents everything Flynn was against.
That spirit totally got away from the top brass.
So we're all writing Flynn off. You'll have my resignation by the end of the day. How many employees are you letting go?
With Flynn gone, we were no longer in the video game business. It was all corporate. I knew it was over when they brought the cubicles back. I guess getting fired is the best thing that ever happened to me.
You were one of the first NCOM employees.
Sure. I have this nickname. Where do you want to start from? Just that question?
Can we just...
Anyway, we were talking about what? Oh, my Tron nickname. Yeah.
Right.
I created a self-monitoring computer security system back in '82. I called it Tron. Well, the weird thing is, Flynn took to calling me Tron. All the programmers ran with it, and the nickname stayed with me for years.
Speaking of which, it's been 7 years since we've last seen Kevin Flynn. Do you think there's anyone out there who still thinks he's alive?
Mom, it's doing it again.
You created the Flynn Lives virus that attacked 40 million PCs last year.
I like to think of it as more of an Easter egg than a virus.
Was the group Flynn Lives involved?
No, I acted alone. It was so cool.
Are you Zack Attack?
No. If I was, there's no way he would have ever found me.
Isolated thinker?
Look, Isolated Thinker paid my legal fees and kept me out of jail.
But you did hack into the ENCOM mainframe on behalf of the group, correct?
You can't talk about that.
How do you feel about the Flynn Lives movement now, today?
What movement? It's totally dead.
Well, publicly, ENCOM and I have acknowledged the fact that he is gone, okay? His disappearance was a massive blow personally and professionally.
This was a man with an entire world waiting to see what he was gonna do next. So yeah, I think something's a little weird that he just totally vanishes.
I don't think he's dead. Is there anyone inside the movement who's seen Kevin Flynn alive and well? Where do you think he is?
I don't know. They know.
I'm still trying to see what part they might have in this, but I can't really. I don't know anything about the conspiracy theories or if that's.
Okay, well, that's the way I want to say it. That's how I want to say it, though. I mean, I want to say.
How do we want to do it?
Flynn possessed an undying commitment to his family and his friends. You know, Flynn, Podesta. I need to start again, Alex.
Years passed, and the voices asking what really happened gradually fell silent. Flynn was gone. Not dead, but gone. We needed to find a new way to reach people. We needed to think like Kevin.
Evolution is the greatest force in the material world. Evolution will provide us the next step in intelligent life. But it will come from somewhere unexpected.
And then, something wonderful happened. Flynn came back, just a little bit younger. Sam Flynn inspired us. Every year, we find a new way to infuriate ENCOM's board with his pranks. He started doing the work that we had almost given up 10 years ago. We began the search again.
All right.
This time, millions of you joined us.
That's not a helicopter.
Today, Sam Flynn has brought us a little closer to his father by reclaiming ENCOM. But these are confusing times. We may have not found Kevin Flynn, but Flynn lives in all of us who want to believe in him. This will be my last transmission.
Greetings, program. What are you doing?
Wiping the hard drive. What does it look like I'm doing?
Looks like you are destroying ENCOM corporate property. That's what it looks like you're doing.
After the news, I didn't know who to trust.
Oh, relax. There's no need to panic.
That's easy for you to say. Your house isn't filled with 20 years of corporate espionage.
Oh? And I'm the one that's still employed by ENCOM. If my board finds out that I've been funding your little operation...
Our little operation, Isolated Thinker.
Yeah.
So what do we do now?
Well, I think it's time that we put Flynn Lives behind us.
What about the page at the arcade? I'm not giving up now.
Flynn may not be back, but I am. Sam's made me chairman.
Oh, yeah, I saw that on the news. Congratulations.
And I want you to join me. Think of yourself as ENCOM's moral compass.
What about Mackie?
He's out. They're all out. We have our company back.
And that Dillinger kid.
Yeah, well, Junior earned his place.
He stays. What about you?
Sign me up, Tron.
Good to have you back, Ram.
One thing. Why do you think Flynn gave you the cool nickname?
We're reporting live from Incom offices where sources indicate that Sam Flynn is on his way here to address the board. This will be Sam's first public appearance since just a moment, Scott. It appears that Sam
Over here, 1 second. Sam, over here. Hey, step aside. Step aside.
How's it going, fellas? Have a good day.
What do you think your father would have said about your actions today? Sam, do you have any statements for the press today?
Yes. Will this be a problem? You may not be his father, but he's still a Flynn. Don't underestimate him. End of line.
Alan Bradley. I just walked up from board meeting, Alan. Flynn's missing.
What do you mean? Less than a week ago, he was knocking on my front door at 3 in the morning, telling me he cracked whatever it is that keeps him up at night.
Do you have any idea what he's working on?
Something involving genetics, quantum theory, teleportation.
Medicine, religion.
He said he would just show me, as there was no way to explain it.
Did he seem nervous?
But you know Flynn, he's elliptical.
It's been over 2 days. Kevin Flynn's gone. This company needs a CEO.
Look, there's nothing in this world that means more to Kevin Flynn than Incom, except his family. He'll be back.
Incom shareholders aren't as patient as you are, Alan. You're closest to him, and for now, the board respects that.
Consider me interim CEO, but I'm only doing it for Sam's sake.
Who's Sam?
Welcome back. The technology world was shocked earlier today as an official statement confirmed that software giant Encom International has reinstated Alan Bradley as chairman. These developments follow an unexpected reorganization of the company's top management, fueled by its largest shareholder, Sam Flynn. Here to give us his side of the story is Alan Bradley himself. Welcome, Mr. Bradley.
Thank you. It's great to be here. And it is great to be back as chairman of Encom.
Well, it's been quite a day for you. Please tell us, what are your plans for Encom?
Technology is developing faster than ever, so Encom needs to stay on top of the latest trends while forging ahead to create new ones. My mission is to keep our business model on track while making sure that Encom's spirit of innovation remains at the heart of what we do.
Well, that brings us to the question of the day. Should investors be worried about Sam Flynn's turbulent past? Will he be a destructive force at Encom?
This is the future. And the shareholders who come along for the ride are going to be very happy with where we're taking Encom next.
Thank you, Mr. Bradley.
Thank you for having me.
You are all Flynn's foot soldiers. And they have to deal with us.
Please welcome Mr. Alan Bradley.
We got something really exciting we're gonna do. We're gonna get started. But first, this is called Operation Tron.
Thank you, Christy. Thank you. I'd like to thank you all for coming this evening.
They're gonna be out there trying to talk about something new that Encom is doing with the eyes of the world on them. We're gonna get in front of that message, and instead of talking about Encom, we're gonna be talking about Kevin Flynn.
I'm excited about what we have to show you tonight. Our newest product takes us back 30 years.
Rolling. Sam Flynn, April 2nd, 2010. Encom's getting ready to make a big statement. And so am I.
I need to find 12 people who are willing to show a little bit of leadership in this event. I need 12 volunteers.
Tonight, I'm thrilled to say that we honored Kevin's dreams, the new version of the game that put Encom on the map. Encom is proud to reintroduce our crown jewel, Space Paranoids, soon to be released online.
Hey, good to see you, Alan. It's been a while. Sorry for cutting your speech short, but I'm doing you a favor because you and I both know that you really don't enjoy these Encom dog and pony shows.
Kevin Flynn is in all of us tonight. He's here.
Get off the stage!
Anyone who knows Encom knows how vital.
Sorry to cut you off, Alan. Just come clear the stage. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, due to these unforeseen circumstances, the press conference is now over.
Flynn Lives is taking the stage to say that Encom has given up on the search for Kevin Flynn. He's still missing, he's still out there, and while Encom smeared his name to blame him for the mismanagement, while they rack up the profits of his work, Space Paranoids is, was, and always will be a Kevin Flynn work of art.
Yo, this one's for you, Kevin Flynn. Check it. Totally blowing up the spot. NCOM corporate headquarters. Loading dock.
What was NCOM afraid to tell the media?
Any truth to the rumors that Kevin Flynn has been embezzling money? What was Flynn's last project?
Back away! Will you back away?
What does NCOM want to hide?
There's a lot of people out there that want to know what's going on.
I don't think he's dead.
There's a lot of conspiracy theories, you know, and I don't really want to get into it.
What was Kevin Flynn really working on?
I mean, it could be anything from artificial intelligence to wireless data transfers. I mean, there's so many rumors as to what he's actually doing. I don't know. They know.
Could it be this book was only the beginning of something much, much more? NCOM doesn't want you to know.
Join visionary Kevin Flynn, author of Structure and Dynamics in Advanced Computer Programming, as he takes us even deeper into the digital frontier.
Evolution is the greatest force in the material world. It has the potential to cause the greatest paradigm shift in the history of mankind. This will unleash the power of human intelligence.
Join Kevin Flynn on an exploration into the digital frontier.
Get your copy today at Center City Books.
Passionately believe that Kevin Flynn, visionary, digital pioneer, a man ahead of his time, is alive.
After too many years of silence, our organization found the funding to extend a tradition that began soon after Flynn's Arcade closed in 1990.
That man, he is a programmer. And we worship him.
That summer and every summer since, those of us who still believe in Flynn's legacy would come together and play the original arcade machines that we have preserved as part of our personal collections. And thanks to an anonymous donor who goes by the name of Isolated Thinker, we've been able to show the public the power of the work of Kevin Flynn and get a whole new group of people back on the search to find out what really happened.
Citizens, there are paranoids, space paranoids among us. So what are you going to do about it?
Blast them! Deep in space and far from home, where paranoids are known to roam. A sneak attack and an evil blind. Now we fight to defend our land. Suit up now, it's time for war. We face a threat never seen before. Tanks, turrets, and the recognizers. You'll be gone as recognizers.
Yes. There must be a problem. You may not be his father, but he's still a Flynn. Don't underestimate him. End of line.
Alan Bradley. I just walked up from a board meeting, Alan. Flynn's missing. What do you mean? Less than a week ago, he was knocking on my front door at 3 in the morning, telling me he cracked whatever it is that keeps him up at night. Do you have any idea what he's working on? Something involving genetics, quantum theory, teleportation, medicine, religion.
Said he would just show me.
There was no way to explain it. Did he seem nervous? Well, you know Flynn, he's elliptical. It's been over 2 days. Kevin Flynn's gone. This company needs a CEO. Look, there's nothing in this world that means more to Kevin Flynn than Encom, except his family. He'll be back. Encom shareholders aren't as patient as you are, Alan. You're closest to him, and for now, the board respects that. Consider me interim CEO, but I'm only doing it for Sam's sake. Who's Sam?
Welcome back. The technology world was shocked earlier today as an official statement confirmed that software giant Encom International has reinstated Alan Bradley as chairman. These developments follow an unexpected reorganization of the company's top management, fueled by its largest shareholder, Sam Flynn. Here to give us his side of the story is Alan Bradley himself. Welcome, Mr. Bradley.
Thank you. It's great to be here. And it is great to be back as chairman of Encom.
Well, it's been quite a day for you. Please tell us, what are your plans for Encom?
Technology is developing faster than ever, so Encom needs to stay on top of the latest trends while forging ahead to create new ones. My mission is to keep our business model on track while making sure that Encom's spirit of innovation remains at the heart of what we do.
Well, that brings us to the question of the day. Should investors be worried about Sam Flynn's turbulent past? Will he be a destructive force at Encom?
This is the future. And the shareholders that come along for the ride are going to be very happy with where we're taking Encom next.
Thank you, Mr. Bradley.
Thank you for having me.
You are all Flynn's foot soldiers. And they have to deal with us.
Please welcome Mr. Alan Bradley.
We got something really exciting we're gonna do. We're gonna get started. But first, this is called Operation Tron.
Thank you, Christy. Thank you. I'd like to thank you all for coming this evening.
They're gonna be out there trying to talk about something new that Encom is doing with the eyes of the world on them. We're gonna get in front of that message, and instead of talking about Encom, we're gonna be talking about Kevin Flynn.
I'm excited about what we have to show you tonight. Our newest product takes us back 30 years.
Rolling. Sam Flynn, April 2nd, 2010. Encom's getting ready to make a big statement. So am I.
I need to find 12 people who are willing to show a little bit of leadership in this event. I need 12 volunteers.
Tonight, I'm thrilled to say that we honored Kevin's dreams, the new version of the game that put Encom on the map. Encom is proud to reintroduce our crown jewel, Space Paranoids, soon to be released online.
Hey, good to see you, Alan. It's been a while. Sorry for cutting your speech short, but I'm doing you a favor because you and I both know that you really don't enjoy these NCOM dog and pony shows.
Kevin Flynn is in all of us to glad he's here.
Get off the stage!
Anyone who knows NCOM knows how vital.
Sorry to cut you off, Alan. Just come clear the stage. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, due to these unforeseen circumstances, the press conference is now over.
Flynn Lives is taking the stage to say that NCOM has given up on the search for Kevin Flynn. He's still missing, he's still out there, and while NCOM smeared his name to blame him for the mismanagement, while they rack up the profits of his work, Space Paranoids is, was, and always will be a Kevin Flynn work of art.
FlynnLives.com. Yo, this one's for you, Kevin Flynn. Check it. Totally blowing up the spot. NCOM corporate headquarters. Loading dock.
Want to dance?
What was NCOM afraid to tell the media?
Any truth to the rumors that Kevin Flynn has been embezzling money? What was Flynn's last project?
Back away, will you? Back away!
What does NCOM want to hide?
There's a lot of people out there that want to know what's going on.
I don't think he's dead.
There's a lot of conspiracy theories, you know, and I don't really want to get into it.
What was Kevin Flynn really working on?
I mean, it could be anything from artificial intelligence to wireless data transfers. I mean, there's so many rumors as to what he's actually doing. I don't know. They know.
Could it be this book was only the beginning of something much, much more? NCOM doesn't want you to know.
Join visionary Kevin Flynn, author of Structure and Dynamics in Advanced Computer Programming, as he takes us even deeper into the digital frontier.
Evolution is the greatest force in the material world. It has the potential to cause the greatest paradigm shift in the history of mankind. This will unleash the power of human intelligence.
Join Kevin Flynn on an exploration into the digital frontier.
Get your copy today at Center City Books.
Passionately believe that Kevin Flynn, visionary, digital pioneer, a man ahead of his time, is alive.
After too many years of silence, our organization found the funding to extend a tradition that began soon after Flynn's Arcade closed in 1990.
That man, he is a programmer, and we worship him.
Yeah, baby,
That summer and every summer since, those of us who still believe in Flynn's legacy would come together and play the original arcade machines that we have preserved as part of our personal collections. And thanks to an anonymous donor who goes by the name of Isolated Thinker, we've been able to show the public the power of the work of Kevin Flynn and get a whole new group of people back on the search to find out what really happened.
Citizens, there are paranoids, space paranoids among us. So what are you going to do about it?
Blast them! Deep in space and far from home, where paranoids are known to roam. A sneak attack and an evil blind. Now we fight to defend our land. Suit up now, it's time for war. We face a threat never seen before. Tanks, turrets, and the recognizers. You'll be gone as